about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's all raise our glass to Alfredo James Pacino, or as many of us know you, Al Pacino!
How's it if I unmute myself? Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special live stream celebrating the 84th birthday of the legend that is Alfredo James Pacino. Let's see, where is he? There he is. Happy birthday, Mr. Pacino. Let's all raise our glass and say, Centani, happy freaking birthday, Mr. Pacino, the legend, the GOAT. So basically I'm going to wing it. I know that this is slightly planned, but not really planned on what I'm going to do. I'm just going to mostly, I think, follow along before the chat is going. Let's see, can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me? I think we can. Yeah, it says we're going live and I've got people watching. And yeah, we have somebody right here, right off the bat. We have my good buddy Mike. Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. Welcome, Mike. And he says, hello, Jeff. Happy birthday, Pacino. Indeed. And as I have said earlier today in a community post, if anybody wants to join in person and chat some Pacino, I am dropping the link to the stream. So if anybody wants to come on board, discuss Pacino or whatever, recap the last two seasons I just did of the two seasons I did so far is a better phrase. The two seasons I did so far of my Pacino reviews. Discussing some of the movies I've already talked about in the reviews. Actually, sort of, it's almost as if I planned this, but I didn't. I really didn't think this far ahead. But it's almost as if I planned it. Like right after I finished my last episode for the season, for season 2, right after it's Pacino's birthday. It's almost as if I planned it. So it sort of coincides with the celebration that I just finished 2 seasons of Pacino reviews. And also, of course, the birthday of the man, the myth, the legend himself. So one of the things I did want to do on this thing is sort of rank the movies that I have reviewed so far. So in season 1, I've reviewed 12 movies of Pacino, all of the 70s, right up until Revolution in 1985, and then I returned in season 2 with 1989's Sea of Love. And I made my way all the way to Any Given Sunday, which is the latest episode that I just did a couple of days ago. So I have written down every single pick and sort of ranked them. Of course, everybody knows what my number one is going to be, but we're going to get there. So yeah, let's start the ranking. Let's rank all the episodes, or not the episode, but let's rank the movies that I've covered in the reviews so far. And coming at number 28, again, I did 28 reviews in total of Pacino movies. And my sort of least favorite of the movies, surprisingly, isn't Revolution. It's the Local Stigmatic. I did a review on this right after I did the Sea of Love review. It's based on a stage play. Pacino was fascinated with the stage play. It doesn't really translate into a movie for me. It's like a 55-minute something movie. It's not even an hour. Yeah, Pacino was very passionate about this. It's one of his passion projects. So this is, and so the films that I have reviewed so far, this is the one I liked the least, I would say. Then, however, I would put aforementioned, if I can find. I got all my Pacino movies lying right here next to me. Where is it? Here it is. Then I would rank Revolution as the second least favorite. Again, it's just a mess of a film, really. So many production, behind the scenes problems and stuff with this one. Made for a very lackluster film when it came out. They tried to patch it up with the as advertised on this Blu-ray, the director's cut, which does slightly improve the film, I will say, but doesn't really salvage it as a whole. So yeah, Revolution. And then I am ranking another passion project, even though this one I do like. Actually, beyond Revolution, I really, really like pretty much all these projects. So your next ranking is Looking for Richard. Again, this is one of my recent reviews from 1996, a documentary. Pacino's fascination with Shakespeare and such is on display as he sort of tries to, sort of tries to find the meaning behind the play Richard III, and also get people's take on Shakespeare and stuff. So yeah, it's not for everyone, but it's an interesting watch, I must say. Then I have another one of the recent ones I did. City Hall. I did like this film. Much more rewatches. It's not one of my most watched ones. This will be apparent for the bottom ones, I think. But yeah, City Hall, not the greatest film, but also definitely not a terrible one. It's actually really well made, really well acted. It's just sort of a little bit forgettable, maybe I would say. Then next up is another one of his 80s flops. The 80s, of course, as we all know, weren't kind to Pacino, but I did like this one much more than Revolution. Offer. And actually, on a personal note, the next movie I'm ranking after this is Cruising. On a personal level, I do enjoy Offer more than Cruising, but Cruising is a better made film, so that's why I ranked Offer and then put Cruising just above it. Again, Cruising, dark subject matter, very dark film. William Friedkin directed, has some very uncomfortable scenes and stuff. It's a weird one. Let's just leave it at that for now. It's a weird one. And then there's a pretty under the radar one. Not too many people have heard of it. When I did the review, I got a few comments saying like I legit never heard of this film. But Two Bits, A Day to Remember, it's the alternate title of 1994, 95. Yeah, 1995 was right before Heat. Again, he plays a minor role in that one, sort of supporting role. He's not the main character, even though he's the lead actor, of course. He's the most, he's the biggest name of the cast. But again, if you haven't seen that one, check out my review, by the way. Should plug, I've done a review, of course, for every one of these. But it is recommended to check out at least once. Let's put it that way. Then next up is another one where in the review I stated it's not one of my most watched ones, but I really do like it more and more with each viewing. It's 1999's The Insider by Michael Mann, co-starring Russell Crowe. Again, on the rewatch, I really had a good time with it. I really got something out of it. But it's not a rewatchable one for me. Like, it's 2 hours, 40 minutes, whatever. It's a very long one. Great performances, greatly directed and stuff. It's just the story I find is a little too weak to tell in 2 hours and 40 minutes. If it was a stronger story, it would have been better. But yeah. Anyway, next up is his first film as a lead actor. Before he did The Godfather, The Panic in Needle Park. I really do like this film. Again, disturbing subject matters, very raw, very gritty. Definitely not for everyone, but the performances are very, very good in this one by both Pacino and his co-star Kitty Wynn. Fantastic performances, and very tightly directed by Jerry Schatzberg. Anyway, next up is people might be surprised this one's a bit higher because it's often considered one of his worst films, but I really do like it. Bobby Deerfield. I like Bobby Deerfield a lot. It's again, yeah, Pacino plays a race car driver, falls in love with a terminally, if I can fucking pronounce that word, terminally, yeah, that's the word, ill woman in a Swiss clinic, and it sort of becomes a romance. It's again, it's not my preferred genre of movies by any means, but it is one where I do really enjoy Pacino's performance in it. Next up, another Jerry Schatzberg one, the second one that he did with Jerry Schatzberg, Scarecrow, with the great Gene Hackman co-starring as well, and Richard Lynch in a very small but memorable role, I would say. Recommend Scarecrow if you haven't seen it. Again, done a review on it. Not going to give too much thoughts when I do this sort of ranking list there. Next up, the last review I did. Where is it? Any Given Sunday. Yes, I just literally recently finished this review a week ago and uploaded a week ago. So yeah, again, if you want to hear all my thoughts, check it out in that video. But it is a really, really excellent film, excellent performances, great cast, Oliver Stone film. Yeah, greatly directed. Enough said for that one. I would say just if you want one scene to really exemplify why that's a great film, check out the speech that he gives. Just check out the speech on YouTube. I think you can find it on YouTube the scene where he delivers the speech right before the final match in the game, the final football match. It's so great. Like I said, I think I said in the review, it rivals the speech from Rocky Balboa. You know, it ain't about how much you hit, it's about how much you can get it. It rivals that speech. Honestly, it's a really great scene. So next up is his comeback movie, Sea of Love. This was my first review of the second season. Fantastic film, great performances. Alan Barkin is smoking hot in this one. Pacino really, proves, after a bit of a hiatus that he's back with a vengeance. And yeah, what a film. Great sort of noirish, sort of sexy thriller, whatever you want to call it. I really enjoyed that one, Sea of Love. Definitely recommend it, again, if you haven't seen it. Next up is going back to season 1, where I tackled this little gem, and Justice for All. I'm out of order. You're out of order. Freaking love and Justice for All. Directed by Norman Jewison again. Courtroom drama. I'm not the biggest courtroom drama guy, but there are a fair few I enjoy. This is definitely one of them. Great performances across the board. Great villain this one, John Forsythe. Yeah. And Justice for All again. Great speech in that one. I've said it a million times in my reviews, but Pacino and speeches go hand in hand. They just absolutely fucking work. Next up is I don't have because I have it all in my box set. But The Godfather Part 3 is next. Again, check out my review. It's definitely the lesser one of the Godfather films. That's a freaking given fact. But it's not the monstrosity or the massive flop or whatever, the reject from hell or whatever that people make it out to be sometimes. It's still a good film. It still has good performances. I mean, again, Sofia Coppola, I mean, I've sort of defended her in the video saying like she didn't want to do it. She was sort of pressured into doing it. And again, it's not the greatest performance, but, put yourself in her shoes. She didn't want to do it. She did it for her father. And I think, given the circumstance, she did a good job. Next up, though, is if Mike is still watching, I know this is one that he in particular really enjoyed. Dick Tracy. Yeah, love Dick Tracy. Love everything about it. The lovely colors, lovely colorful style of the film. Um, Only thing that I critiqued in my review, I think, was Warren Beatty. I don't really sort of, I didn't really thought he was great as the lead itself, yeah, himself in the film. You know, Dick Tracy himself was pretty much the most boring character in the film. I mean, it's not Warren Beatty's fault really, because you know, if you look at the film, he has so many colorful villains. You know, Pacino, you know, got Flat Top, Itchy, you know, all those crazy characters. The guy with the big face. Um, and yeah, he sort of is like a average Joe in a way. He sort of, you know, he sort of sticks out, you know, as a regular guy among a crazy, you know, group of characters. So yeah, I wasn't too fond on Warren Beatty himself, but the film, I think it's fantastic. Next up, really underrated. Definitely recommend this one. People still aren't convinced on it when I did my review, but Frankie and Johnny, what a film! Frankie and Johnny, romantic comedy. Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer once again. Um, yeah, it's great chemistry, a great love story. And this one, I really, I don't know. Again, it's not my genre, but this one really just works for me. Everything works. Everything just clicks together in that one for me. Next up, I don't know if Dan is watching. I know Dan. I think he messaged me earlier this week. He might be out at the moment, but if Dan is watching, he's gonna like that I placed this at number 11. This one of his favorite movies. If I can find it. There it is. It's one of his favorite movies. Glengarry Glen Ross. Yes, what a fantastic cast. Again, check out my review if you want to hear the full thing, my full thoughts on it. I will probably go a little in depth about some of the films later on the stream, but Glengarry Glen Ross, what a fantastic film. Great performance across the board. Tightly directed by James Foley. Yeah, love it. Let's see. Dick Tracy is a cult film now, I think, is what Mike says. Warren Beatty, maybe a wrong choice, but Al Pacino's over the top in the past way. Yeah, I mean, Warren Beatty as the director for that film, I think, works. I just don't necessarily, not necessarily sure about him as the lead. You know, he sort of, I don't know what the right word is. He sort of comes across a bit dull compared to the other characters, but again, it might not be his fault because it's the character. You know, it's weird one, that one for me. It's but yeah, Pacino is deliciously over the top in it, that's for sure. And then we enter the top 10. We're already more than halfway through. Got 10 more films that I reviewed to rank. I think this might actually be my top 10 that I did a couple of years ago. Now that I look at it, it's very similar anyway. Anyway, number 10, we have Al Pacino's Oscar-winning 1992 performance in Scent of a Woman. Hooah! I mean, who doesn't love Scent of a Woman, right? It's one of the best dramas ever. It's such a good story, such a well acted story. Chris O'Donnell has never been better for me. I mean, Chris O'Donnell, of course, besides this, he was Robin in the Batman films, and I think he's on NCIS or whatever, a TV show. But fantastic performance here by Chris O'Donnell, and definitely by Al Pacino. Again, Pacino has been nominated for an Oscar 10 times, 9 times, whatever it is now in total. And this is the one he won for. Is that justified? I don't know. I still think they gave him the Oscar for this one to make up for previous mistakes, but it is still a good performance nonetheless. That's for sure. It's definitely an Oscar-worthy performance. I just don't think it's the one he should have won for. If that makes sense. Like a nomination, fine, but he should have won for Godfather. Godfather 2 is definitely Serpico. Dog Day Afternoon. Dog Day Afternoon again was a curious one because I said it's the same year Jack Nicholson won for Cuckoo's Nest, and I do feel that one's deserved as well. So fair play on that one. But yeah, and again, no nomination for Scarface. Well, come on, fucking kidding me, man. Anyway, speaking of which, related to Scarface, a lot of people will say, but number 9, I'm gonna rank Carlito's Way. Again, Pacino teaming up with De Palma and Sean Penn in this one, Penelope Ann Miller. Fantastic film and very, very sort of underrated within the gangster genre. Talked about that a few times. Just actually got this recently, the Arrow Video 4K collector set with the original poster artwork. Really chuffed with this set. But yeah, Carlito's Way, fantastic film. Then coming in at number 8. The Devil's Advocate. What a fantastic film once again. Um, that pretty much hit a top 10 of like pretty much untouchable Pacino films for me. I love all these ones. Devil's Advocate. What a great film. Keanu Reeves as a co-star. Charlize Theron, if I can pronounce it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, great movie. Pacino's so over the top again, just like in Dick Tracy. Mike, don't you agree? You know, as the devil, he really, really relishes in that role. He really sort of, yeah, he just shines in that one. Yeah, next up is another one that a lot of people love, a lot of people's fan favorite. Michael Mann's 1995 crime drama, Heat. I've talked about Heat enough in the last few months. I did a watch party on it with Gareth with Tasties. I don't know if he's watching. I know he's got a live stream in about 30 minutes. If all goes well, I think I saw his recent community post. There might be some issues, but I think he's going to go live in 30 minutes. But yeah, Heat, great movie. The meeting of legends, Pacino, De Niro, sharing the screen for the first time. Great shootout. What more can you want? It's a fantastic film. As a side note to that, on Heat, this might be a good time to also wish a happy birthday to another one of Pacino's co-stars that also has his birthday today, Hank Azaria, who was in this film. He's the guy you remember in the scene where Pacino says, "'Cause you got a great ass." The guy he says that to, that's Hank Azaria. So it's his birthday as well today, and as well, I should point out his Godfather co-star Talia Shire also has a birthday today as well. So there's 3 people there that share a birthday. They're all connected by appearing in the same films. So yeah, happy birthday as well to Hank Azaria and Talia Shire. Of course, Talia Shire from the Godfather trilogy, and we all remember her as Adrian, right? Yo, Adrian, happy birthday. Number 6, one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated Pacino film. As far as I'm concerned, I really just don't hear too many people, not enough people anyway, talk about this one. Donnie Brasco, again, 1997. Talked about it again very recently in a review. Johnny Depp has never been better for me. Johnny Depp gives his career best performance as far as I'm concerned. Michael Madsen gives one of his best performances. And of course, Pacino, very understated in this era, of course, where he was known for shouting a lot. He's very subdued in this one, more quiet. He plays a low-level gangster as opposed to the big boss or whatever. Great film and great performance by Al Pacino. Who else? Hooah! Oh yeah, we're getting into the good ones. Not just my opinion, pretty much everybody's opinion. Next up, Dog Day Afternoon, Sidney Lumet's 1975 masterpiece. What a film! You know, so many great scenes in this one. Attica. We all remember that scene. John Cazale, one of John Cazale's last roles. Of course, he was also in the Godfather films and The Deer Hunter, which would be his last film. But yeah, Dog Day Afternoon. This is a 10 out of 10 film. I think I gave this a score of 10 out of 10. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's a must watch. Speaking of Sidney Lumet, I do prefer this one a little bit better. If that's even possible. But yeah, Serpico is slightly over Dog Day, even though both films are masterpieces as far as I'm concerned. But I really, really love Serpico with the beard, you know, with the look and everything. What a fantastic film. Sidney Lumet, I wish he did another film with Sidney Lumet. I wish they would have done a third one, because if you look at Sidney Lumet, you often work with a lot of the same actors. You know, you work with Sean Connery 5 or 6 times. I wish there would have been a third Sidney Lumet Al Pacino collaboration, because the 2 that they have made together are already masterpieces. Imagine what a third one would be like. You do a great Al Pacino impression. Well, I need to get Blow and Donnie Brasco. Blow is another good one. Blow is another great Johnny Depp performance. But yeah, definitely Donnie Brasco is it's so recommended. It's fantastic, really. But yes, I can do young Pacino as well. And if anybody wants me to drop into modern Pacino, the shouting voice, I'll be here all night. So yeah, if anyone wants to hear more impressions, feel free to drop it in there. Anyway, yeah, Serpico. Then we have the two Godfather films. Again, I have them in the collection. I have them in a box set. I don't have the box set right now, but Godfather 2 I rank at number 3, and Godfather 1 at number 2. Might as well give the number 1 pick as well, because I think everybody knows it anyway. But yeah, number 1 is Scarface. Need I say more? No. Let's just talk about the Godfather a little bit. Talk about Scarface enough on my YouTube career, I think. But yeah, no, Godfather 2. You could say it's better than the first one, and filmmaking and stuff. It's on such a high level. It's I can easily see why people say, or why people have the opinion that Godfather 2 is slightly better over Godfather 1. And I can definitely also see the case, vice versa for Godfather 1 over Godfather 2. They're both such fantastic movies, masterpieces, works of art, right? It's what can you say about the Godfather films? The first two anyway. That hasn't been said already. They're usually rated as people's favorite movies, or they're rated on list of movies, as the number 1 or number 2 movie of all time for a reason, right? They're legendary. I don't think I've met many people who haven't watched The Godfather that don't like it. I mean, there are people that haven't seen it. It's not their thing. Okay, fair enough. But most of the times when people watch it, they like it and they love it. I don't think I've heard anybody say I've watched it. I thought it sucked or anything. I'm sure there's people out there, but I haven't I haven't come across them yet. Anyway, we have Vinny. Hey, Vinny, how's it going, sir? Welcome to the Pacino appreciation night. So yeah, I've done my ranking of the movies I've reviewed so far. So I'm just gonna recap once more for people that missed it that were just tuning in. My least favorite Pacino film that I've reviewed so far was Local Stigmatic at number 28, and number 27 at Revolution, Looking for Richard 26, City Hall 25, Offer 24, Cruising at 23. Again, personally, I do prefer Offer over Cruising, but Cruising is subjectively, or objectively speaking, the better made film. Two Bits at number 22, The Insider 21, Panic in Needle Park at number 20, Bobby Deerfield at 19, Scarecrow at 18, Any Given Sunday at 17, Sea of Love at 16, Justice for All at 15, right in the middle there, Godfather 3 at 14, Dick Tracy at 13, Frankie and Johnny at 12, just outside the top 10 was Glengarry Glen Ross at number 11, then number 10 was Send a Woman, Carlito's Way at 9, Devil's Advocate at 8, Heat at number 7, Donnie Brasco at 6, Dog Day Afternoon at 5, Serpico at 4, Godfather 2 at 3, and Godfather 1 at number 2, and of course, Scarface at number 1. So, yeah, I've done the ranking. So I might as well, as is an Al Pacino, as this is the Al Pacino Appreciation Night stream. And for those wondering why I call it that, that's in reference to a scene in The Irishman where you have the Frank Sheeran Appreciation Night. So I sort of lifted it from that, which is one of my favorite Pacino films. I love The Irishman. So I might as well tell sort of, again, for people that don't know already, people that might be new to the channel, whatever, might as well tell my first experience and sort of my introduction to Pacino, if I can. Looking for the right props. That's the thing. I got so much stuff around me. Didn't call it out, did I? You'll have to excuse me. I thought I had everything prepared, but turns out I don't. Wait a minute. Never mind about that. I'll find out later. I'll illustrate without showing it. But anyway, so I always credit, of course, Scarface as my, starting my love for movie. I always say without Scarface, I would not be here without having watched that as an 11-year-old, as an impressionable 11-year-old. I would not be here today doing what I do, having the collection that I do, etc., etc. Now, I always sort of put it this way, like the foundation for my love for movies was laid with the Bond movies and the Rocky movies as a 6, 7, 8-year-old, whatever. And I would watch all those movies on repeat pretty much throughout those formative years, I guess, right up until I was 11 in 2008. Um, that's when things changed, obviously. So yeah, 2008, I was still a big Bond fan. The latest Bond film, Quantum of Solace, was due to be out. Um, very hyped for it. Saw it in cinema. It was the first Bond movie I saw in cinema. Um, but right around that time, when we did have that new Bond film, my brother, who's 8 years older than me, so he's a bit older, of course. My brother had the Scarface video game and the Scarface movie on DVD. He really liked Scarface, and I kept sort of hearing him talk about it a little bit. I saw him watch. I watched him play the game a little bit and stuff. I remember one time he was actually watching the movie, and I wanted to watch a bit with him, but my mom wasn't having any of it. She was like, "Get him out of here. This is not a movie for him," and stuff like that. So ever since then, it was a week or so. I was sort of planning, making my scheme. I was like, I have to see this film. My brother really loves it. I have to see this film. So one day, 11-year-old me got the bright idea, right, of going into my brother's room where he had the Scarface game and the Scarface DVD. It wasn't this DVD, but this is a DVD edition of it that I do have. 11-year-old me had the bright idea to just put the DVD right there, sneak it up to my room. I did have a TV and DVD player in my room at that time, watching the Bond films, the Rocky films and stuff. And I, in a sort of, what was it, about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. at night, in the evening, I should say, 11-year-old me sat down and watched Scarface in secret, turning the volume down so that nobody would hear him watching it. And I just remember 11-year-old me just being, I'm sitting on a couch. I was at the edge of my seat, literally, when I watched Scarface for the first time. I was just mesmerized by Pacino's performance. And I remember I loved it so much. I sort of kept the DVD a little bit. I sort of told my brother, "Hey, I got the DVD. Don't tell mom. Don't tell dad. Stuff like that." He's like, "No, okay." So yeah, I watched the movie pretty much once a week at that point. I was so captivated and mesmerized by Pacino and everything in that film. The colors, the direction by De Palma, the music, all that stuff. I would pretty much watch it every week. And actually, in school, it sort of became a big thing. Everybody in school was like, I was telling them I just saw this, movie. It's the greatest fucking thing ever made and stuff like that. And I pretty much instantly, I would also start doing Pacino impressions from Scarface. I would do Tony Montana in school. There were a couple of kids that also saw the film. Again, they were also too young, as was I. But yeah, actually in school, the our kids were sort of testing, like, do the scene where Tony kills Frank, do the scene where, this and that. And I would act out the scene. It would sort of be my homework, besides actual school homework. Like, I would have to study these scenes because they wanted me to perform it at school, a couple of the kids. So I remember that, remember doing that. So that's actually how I sort of got into Pacino, which was with Scarface. Again, many people know this, but again, for people that are just tuning in that really aren't too familiar with me and my channel yet, that's the origin story of how I got into pretty much cinema, really. The foundation, again, laid by the Bond films and Rocky films, but definitely it was built, everything was built with Scarface, with Pacino and Scarface. And he became my favorite actor, became my favorite movie. Yeah, that's my origin story with Pacino. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys in the chat. Let me know what your origin story is for Pacino. What was the first one you guys saw? What's the first one that really stuck out for you? What's the first one you remember watching? Stuff like that. I would like to hear it from you guys. As we are welcoming in our guest, Wilkie. Wilkie's Movie and Music. I think he's from the US, so it's in the afternoon. So good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, guys, first Pacino movie for you. As I take a little sip. Let's see. So yeah, if you think about it, there's so many great films, so many great performances, right? I mean, even if you look at pictures from Scarface, You know, they just scream iconic. If you look at pictures from the Godfather movies, they scream iconic as well. Even this one isn't. It's an iconic still. I think this one is even a bit more memorable and iconic. Um, yeah, if you just look at the picture, it just um, brings back the the joy from the movies and stuff. You know. I was correct. It is 1:35 p.m. Yeah, it's 8:35, 36 now p.m. over here in the Netherlands. Oh, Mike is saying it actually was The Godfather. Oh, that's definitely a great first one. That's for sure. I mean, I would probably say if that was my first one instead of Scarface, I would probably still be a big fan of him and track down the other movies. But I think ultimately it would still be Scarface that really sealed the deal. It's hard to say in hindsight though, because The Godfather is such a again well crafted film. With wonderful performances across the board by everybody in that one. John Cazale, James Caan, Robert Duvall, Talia Shire, Marlon Brando, of course. You can't go wrong with Brando in that one. Brando is the heart and soul of that first film, in my opinion. I mean, it's Pacino's movie, but Brando steals it. Man, what a performance! Yeah, The Godfather is definitely a great first one. I can see why that would definitely grab you. So yeah, I got a few pictures lined up. So which one do I bring up first? Yeah, in the 70s. If you look at the 70s, he just had a great look in the 70s and throughout the early 80s. I would say before he sort of changed, he got more, more of the features, more predominant stuff. But in the 70s, he had a baby face as well as a of course very high pitched sort of voice. Look how Brad's he had a gun to his head, and my father showed him that either his brains or his signature would be on the contract. That's how he used to talk before he became this, right? Before he got all the way down here. I guess that's a product of a lot of cigarettes and a lot of booze. It was under, Mike is saying I was under 10, but it seemed like they showed every year on regular TV, and it was an event in my house. Well, I can definitely see that. I mean, it's sort of, it's even bigger, I think, more bigger of a thing in the US than it is sort of in any other sort of country in the world. Because I've seen so many sort of, also, when you watch American sitcoms and comedy shows and stuff like that, there's always seems to be an episode where everybody goes crazy with The Godfather. They talk about. I remember an episode of the sitcom, My Wife and Kids, with one of the Wayans brothers. I can't think of the first name at the moment. But there was an episode where it was like, kids, The Godfather trilogy is on TV all night. They turn into a special event. So I get that definitely for American households, it's even more of a thing than this sort of, like over here in the European household and stuff. I can definitely see that. Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. So yeah, what can you expect in season 3 for Pacino reviews? Of course, we're entering into the current millennium. The last film we covered was 1999's Any Given Sunday. The first film that's going to be up for review on season 3. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of season 3 of some of the films that are going to be featured there. The first film we do is Chinese Coffee, because this one came out in the year of our Lord, 2000. And again, it's one that he directed, and it's a, how long is this one? Can't seem to find the running time. Don't think one is under an hour like Local Stigmatic was. I think this one is like 99 minutes. So yeah, it's like an hour 30 plus a little bit. So this is more of a feature film length than Local Stigmatic did or had. I've only seen that one once, so it's going to be interesting revisiting that one for the review. However, episode 2 we're going to have another modern classic, I would say, with Insomnia. Now, if Donnie Brasco is one of the most underrated ones, this one follows right along its heels, if you ask me, because this is one of the best films of Al Pacino, one of the best films of Robin Williams, where he really plays a dark, sinister character, as opposed, of course, to the funny man that he always was. And it's one of the best, in my humble opinion, Christopher Nolan films. I know that's a bold statement because, of course, The Dark Knight, those films, the Dark Knight trilogy, Tenet, Memento. What's the recent one that came out? Oppenheimer. Um, he's done a lot of great freaking films, but in my humble opinion, Insomnia is one of the greatest. Again, I get some of the people that sort of aren't keen on it because it's a remake of a Norwegian film, and a lot of people have seen the original one and they say it's very different and stuff. But I think it's a very well-made film, very well-written story, well acted by everybody. I really genuinely feel this is one of the most underrated ones of Pacino's career. Once again, it's right up there with Donnie Brasco. Because again, not too many people talk about Insomnia, but this is one that's coming up in season 3. It's going to be episode 2. Sadly, we are going to cover some duds in season 3. Wait, we just did season 2. If I can get my seasons in the correct order, we're doing season 3 next. Yes. And season 3, we will be covering some duds as well. Geely, 2003, 2004 is going to be one, so that's going to be one of the first handful of episodes for next season. And I think one of the last episodes for season 3 is going to be Jack in Jail, so we'll be covering some duds in season 3, and I use duds very politely. We're going to be covering some misfires, some dumpster fires in season 3. So it's not going to be all great films, but I'm definitely looking forward to Insomnia. In a way, I'm looking forward to reviewing the duds as well, because you need that to sort of break it up. If you sort of are overly positive on every movie, it sort of gets boring. You need one to sort of be a bit lesser and stuff. But Robin Williams was super creepy in Insomnia. I absolutely agree. He was fantastic in it. Definitely a different performance than we're used to seeing from him, that's for sure. I think the same year that 1 Hour Photo, didn't he? Which he also played another creepy character in. But he was fantastic in it. Rest in peace, Rob Williams. By the way, he's definitely missed. I still can't believe it. It's been almost a decade. I still can't believe that he's no longer with us. Yeah, Mike loves Insomnia. He's underrated, and for Christopher Nolan as well. Yeah, I can get it because if you look at again Christopher Nolan's career, he has done those big blockbuster Dark Knight films, and Oppenheimer, of course, was Best Picture winner, which was presented by Pacino. I think everybody has seen that sort of weird moment where Pacino presented the award. Again, the guy was 83, he's now 84. He's up there in age, so, just leave him alone for fuck's sakes. And on that, I think Pacino has said that it wasn't his idea to do it the way that he did it. They just told him, just get straight to the winner. But yeah, people sort of were ripping into him. I just wanted to defend my guy a little bit. He's 83 years old. I mean, he's now 84, but at the time when he did that, he was 83. Give him a break. It's freaking Al Pacino, man. Come on. But yeah, again, I get it. Christopher Nolan, fantastic career, so many fantastic films. I get why they can overlook Insomnia. Certain people can overlook it. Robin Williams surprised me with Insomnia, 1 Hour Photo, after some of the family films in the 90s. Yeah, imagine going to the video store or whatever, or getting a stack of Robin Williams films, and you make your way through like the Mrs. Doubtfires. Let's just take his animated voiceover work and Aladdin as well. Let's throw it in there as well, Aladdin. Just think of all those movies, and then you watch Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo. It's gonna be like, whoa, what happened? I didn't know he could do that, but yeah, he definitely great performances. Really sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Really showcase he was very versatile. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Very versatile actor if you look at it in that way. Yeah, he was great in those films, especially in Insomnia. Again, And that scene between him and Pacino, where Pacino gives one of my favorite lines in the film. Again, I will save most of my thoughts when I do the review, but when Pacino says so when they meet for the first time on that boat, he says, "You're trying to impress me. You don't get it, do you, Finch? You're my job. You're what I'm paid to do for. You're what I'm paid to do. You're about as mysterious to me as a block toilet is to a fucking plumber." And I love that line. You're about as mysterious to me as a block toilet is to a fucking plumber. Reasons for doing what you did? Who gives a shit? I did actually recently watch this one again. I was just in the mood to watch this one again. I was like, I haven't seen it in a while. It's going up for the review. So I actually watched it last week. Fantastic movie. And Hilary Swank as well. I mean, this was this 2001? 2002. So this was right before she would win the Oscar for $1 Million Baby. I think she might have already won for, what's that other film? Boys Don't Cry? I think that's the one. So she was, pretty much hot property at the time. She delivered a fantastic performance in it. See a couple of other things in season 3 that you can expect. I will do a bonus episode actually on that video game, Scarface: The World Is Yours. I will do a bonus episode on that one. So that will be somewhere in the middle of the season. I'll do that as a bonus episode because even though he's sort of not physically in the game, how do I put it? You play as Tony Montana, and of course it is based on his image and his likeness and stuff. But he doesn't do the voice. But he did handpick the guy that does the voice. The Tony Montana voice. And I wish I was a voice actor in those days because I would have been like, Al, pick me. I can do Tony Montana just as well as anybody else, okay? The guy that they got for Scarface voice is great. Don't get me wrong. Again, Pacino handpicked it himself. I just wish it was me. If they do a Scarface game nowadays, I will definitely sort of maybe try my luck at getting the role for Tony Montana. I can do the voice. I was just some kidding aside. So I will do a bonus episode on that one. Some other films you can look forward to in season 3. Again, will be some lesser films according to many, but I do actually like this one. Spoilers ahead. With 88 minutes. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's maybe I would say average, but we'll see when I rewatch it. But I do remember actually not hating it at all. Another thing we'll be looking at season 3 is Angels in America, which is a HBO. There it is. There's the name, HBO. HBO miniseries in 4 parts, I think. It's like a 6-hour thing all together. With a fantastic cast: Pacino, Meryl Streep, Emma Thompson, Jeffrey Wright. Oh my God, so many great people in this one. Just looking at the cast in the back, it's impressive. Mary Louise Parker. Yeah, Angels in America. This will be one I'll be doing in season 3. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll do that one in parts because obviously it is a big thing to sort of try to do in a 10-minute review. It's a 6-hour mini-series. Trying to condense that in 10 minutes is going to be tricky, so I might do that in like 2 parts or whatever, or maybe one longer video for that one. We shall see, but that's one of the things that's coming up in season 3. Actually, I got my list of season 3 made of the films I'm covering in season 3. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, literally the penultimate episode for season 3 will be Jack and Jill, and we will end season 3 on 2012's Stand Up Guys, which again is underrated. Pacino, Christopher Walken, Alan Arkin. Another one I would class in the pretty underrated Pacino films. I would group it along with Insomnia and Donnie Brasco. And even, Frankie and Johnny and Bobby Deerfield. I do like those films. We will also get some more Shakespeare in season 3. Again, Pacino loves Shakespeare. So we'll be getting an adaptation of The Merchant of Venice from 2004. So this will be one of the first episodes as well, I think. It's going to be like episode 6 or 7 from the looks of it. Or another one that people really hate. We're going to be covering in season 3, and it is Righteous Scale, Pacino and De Niro. that's another one that's coming up in season 3. So yeah, there you guys have it. So I think I'm gonna just what am I gonna do? Yeah, it's Pacino's birthday. We might as well celebrate the man by showing my sort of Pacino collectibles. How's this for size? Whoop, crap! He's almost falling out of his chair. It's all life, folks. It's all life. I wish I could edit this out, but I can't. Anyway, yeah. How's this for size? Pacino as Tony Montana, sitting in his chair like the king, with a big stogie. Yeah. Let's see. Get my mug out of the way. Let's show you guys this awesome likeness. Comes with the chair and everything. He also has a gun, but I hit the gun under his jacket, so. But of course, when Tony Montana's sitting in his chair in his office doing business, he doesn't have the gun in hand. He does have it ready. But of course, we all know. Sarah Maria Fuen. Yeah, might as well show this one as well. Again, another king sitting in his chair. It's Pacino as Michael Corleone from The Godfather Part 2, with a cigarette and a glass of whiskey. Zoom in on that likeness. Get me out of the way once again. Take a look at that. That's young Pacino right there. That's a great likeness. Might not be great from every angle, but it's definitely him, that's for sure. Yeah, just showing my collectibles. I had the freaking Scarface game ready as well to show. Just can't find it. Oh, I spotted. Just a second. Blah. Where was this when I was telling my introduction story? There's the Scarface video game for PS2. They released this for PS2, the original Xbox and PC. Yeah, I wish they would remaster or remake this game. This is a great game. One of the best open world, crime games ever for me. This rivals any of the GTA games from this era. Yeah, you play as Tony Montana. With his likeness and all. Again, this was sort of my first bit of introduction before I snuck the DVD of my brother up to my room and watched the film. But it sort of started with this video game. I did watch him play this a little bit. So yeah, and there was another game based on a fantastic, super mega blockbuster movie of Pacino's career. They also did a video game adaptation for aforementioned The Godfather. Yes, they have made a Godfather game. Sadly, Pacino is not in this game. Pacino doesn't. They were made around the same time. I think they both came out in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. So Pacino actually signed off for the likeness on this one, but I think maybe legal issues or whatever prevented his likeness to be used here. I think maybe because the deal was made with this company, so they couldn't use Pacino's likeness for the Godfather game. However, they did get. As you can see right there, Brando, James Gunn, Robert Duvall. Oh wait, there's Duvall. Yeah, and pretty much every other actor from the movie that got their likeness. Pretty much everybody besides Pacino, which is a shame. But if you're a gamer, I do game quite a bit. Not as much as I watch movies. And if you have never played these, if you can find them, if you have the right consoles, etc., these games are recommended. The Godfather game is really good as well. Again, sadly, though, no Pacino, so I won't be covering this one as a bonus episode for the review series, but I will be doing Scarface because he had some involvement with this one. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this one. Again, as I said at the beginning of the stream, I didn't really have anything planned. Just wanted to wish Pacino a birthday, so have a little bit of Pacino talk. Just gonna, in case people missed it, just gonna post a link in here if anybody does want to pop on, have a chat, and maybe share some of your favorite Pacino films. You don't have to necessarily be on camera. If you log on to StreamYard, you can switch your camera off. You can just have your mic on without the camera. So anyway, I'm just gonna quickly finish up on a cigarette that I was actually smoking before I went live. Again, I don't have anything planned, so I'll just go where you guys are going. I did actually invite a few people on, but sadly everybody was busy. Of course, as I said before, Gareth is doing a live stream in about 5 minutes. I have to check my phone if he's actually just going through. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting question. I have a few questions here in case it wasn't. Favorite Pacino quotes? Hit me up with the quotes and I will do the impression, guys. Let's hear some quotes. For example, I have one of my favorites queued up here.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
That's a classic right there. That's a classic one. So any similar quotes? Anybody has their favorite quotes lined up? Oh, actually, didn't realize I prepared this for the stream. There you go. Oh, wait, I will not drop a special trailer. I should actually edit that. Can I edit it? Oh, well, let's just leave it on there, but there will not be a trailer on this one. I will play the intro once again at the end because I thought it came out really well. The intro that I played at the beginning. Oh, yeah, this is another interesting subject. Actress you would like to have Pacino team up with. Now, Pacino's worked with many legends. You know, he worked with Robert De Niro, of course, a couple of times. Warren Beatty, just name all this, Brando. But one of my biggest sort of regrets from Pacino's career is that he never got to work so far with Sylvester Stallone. And I do have a picture of the two. Look at them. Those two deserve a movie together, don't they? Just look at them. They're like twins almost. They look similar. Those two in a film would be fantastic. I wish that would happen. I wish Pacino would team up with Sly. Maybe on season 2 of Tulsa King it can happen. Who knows? However, this would be a movie right here, wouldn't it? Pacino, De Niro, and Stallone. Now, Stallone has worked with De Niro twice, Copland and Grudge Match. And of course, Pacino has done The Godfather 2, even though they didn't share any scenes. Heat, Righteous Kill, and The Irishman. Just imagine if these three actually did team up. I actually was very sort of, what's the word? Very excited when I worked. When I found that picture, I was like, "Oh, cool! A picture of the three of them together." I never saw that before. So when I found it, I was actually clapping for joy. I was like, "Oh, cool! This is a picture that needs to be saved. I need to grab this picture of the three of them." Legends, right? If you sum up legends in one picture, boom, drop that one. Let's see. Sadly, I'm at work, but would love to jump on the stream if you're not. No worries, Wilkie. No worries. Again, like I said, I asked a few people, but you know, people have work. I get it. You know, life gets in the way. You know, people have work, doing other things, family, right? Everything. So I get it. So no worries. I'm liking the You're Out of Order scene there, lady. That's a pretty cool scene, and that's again one of a big highlight scene of Pacino's career for me. Like, if you ask people, you know, to share their favorite scene, that is usually one that does come up. You know, after people are done with talking about Scarface and The Godfather and stuff like that, that's usually one that does come up. One that's parodied often as well. I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna need a little bit of a drink. Because again, that's young Pacino. I need to pitch my voice a little bit higher. I actually like how that entire scene goes, where he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, the jury, my name is Arthur Kirkland." Oh my god, I'm sounding terrible. That's not a good young Pacino voice. I used to be better at it. Bear with me, I might grow into it more. My name is Arthur Kirkland, and I am the defense counsel for the defendant, Judge Henry T. Fleming. And then, the moment where he does go, my client, the Honorable Henry T. Fleming, should go right to fucking jail. And then, you have the judge, played by Jack Warden, Mr. Kirkland, you're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order. They're out of order. Love that scene. It's definitely one of the highlights of his career for sure. One of the classics. Again, I've said it so many times now, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but Pacino and speeches, man. Write that guy a monologue and he will absolutely deliver, Again, so many other ones I can point to. City Hall, again, underrated film, not a rewatchable one. Sort of more of a generic sort of thriller, but Pacino does have that one speech where he's the mayor, he's speaking at a funeral, sort of more of a political ploy that he does in that scene, but where he's like, I choose to fight back, I choose to live, not die, stuff like that. I can't remember the entire scene, but he does end it with, our city, your city, his city is a palace again, is a palace again. Where he sort of really goes for it, I think there was another one Son of Woman. Ooh, Son of Woman has a fantastic speech, courtroom speech at the end. Where again they bring back the "you're out of order" bit, where James Reporn or Raporn, I still don't know how to properly pronounce his surname, Reporn or Raporn, one of the two, where he says, "Sir, you're out of order." Out of order? I'll show you out of order. You don't know what out of order is, Mr. Trask. I'll show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. Out of order. Who the hell you think you're talking to? I've been around, There was a time I could see, and I have seen, boys like these, younger than these, their arms torn out, their legs ripped off. But there is nothing like a sight of an amputated spirit. There is no prosthetics for that. And then I'm sort of blanking on how it goes on, but it's impressive I knew that bit, wasn't it? I do like the part where sort of in the middle of the speech he goes to the 3 kids that actually have done the thing that the trial is for, and he says, and Harry, Jimmy, Trent, where we are out there. I'm trying to actually act blind as well, can you tell? Fuck you too! When he goes like that. Whenever I do Pacino, I'm always sort of trying to emulate the character as much as I can. Of course, in Son of Woman, he's blind, so I'm sort of not focusing on stuff when I do that character, Hooah! Kids, hooah! Big ones, little ones. Nipples staring right out at you like secret searchlights. Ha! I do like that when Pacino does. That's one of the tricks if you want to do a Pacino impression. One of the steps is the huff. Oh! For some reason, Al Pacino always has a lot of air to let out. He's always like, oh, oh, hooah. That's one trick to mastering your Pacino impression, if I can be your coach for the night. It's one of the steps is, oh, just let out that air. I think the comedian Richard Lewis did a great Pacino impression back in the day. YouTube him and see if you can find it. I will try to keep that in mind. I will definitely look that up after the stream. See, Mike has, or Wilkie is up to Mike. Great, that's excellent. Wilkie's a great guy. He does a lot of streams as well. Definitely check him out. Crap, something is. All right. Hey Matt, how's it going? I think Matt is going live, or he has something planned in an hour or two about Marlon Brando. Which, speaking of which, of course, Marlon Brando, of course, the co-star or the main guy in Godfather 1, right? Let's see, Marlon Brando is another one of those impressions. Sometimes on certain days I nail it, and on certain days it just sounds a bit off. But and with him as well, one of the tricks is you stick your chin out, because that's sort of what he does in The Godfather. You have to stick your chin out. Let the sound make your voice come from. I don't know what it's deeper. You have to mumble a little bit as well. Michael, I never wanted this from you. I spent my whole life, I don't apologize, take care of my family. And I refuse to be a fool. Dancing on a string out by all those big shots. I don't apologize, that's my life, but it's just not that. And when it was your time, may you be the one who pulled the strings. Senator Corleone, Governor Corleone, son. And I had a pencil in one day. Oh, that's where I got the young Pacino. That was it. But yeah, I love. But yeah, Matt has a thing about Brando uploading, so I did see it on the feed. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Remember seeing a play of Glengarry Glen Ross before the film, and man, what a cast! Jack Lemmon was amazing alongside Alan Baldwin. That Alec Baldwin scene, man. Can I have your attention for a moment? Because you're talking about what? You're talking about bitching about that sale you shot. Some son of a bitch don't want to buy land. Some boy to try and screw so forth. Let's talk about something important. Are you all here? All but one. Okay, let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. Jack Lemmon sort of having a nervous laughter. You think I'm fucking with you? I am not fucking with you. I'm here from downtown. I'm here from Mitch and Murray. And I'm here on a mission of mercy. Your name's Levine? Yeah. You call yourselves a salesman, you son of a bitch? And I can do that entire scene, but I won't at this moment. But yeah, Glengarry Glen Ross is amazing. So thanks, Jeff. That's a great impression, my friend. Godfather, I'm all not so good at. I can do a bit of underwater film. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. With that one, it's not as much, it's not as mumbly with as it is with The Godfather. It's like, I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am. It's all you, Charlie. I do love underwater film. I think we talked about this when we did our watch party of Undefeatable, where you sort of drifted into Brando, which was, going from Cynthia Rothrock film to one of the greatest actors of all time. It's something. I try. Again, I'm into it, and then I'm like, what's the next bit? Yes, I don't memorize everything, but I remember enough, if that makes sense. Not everything is verbatim, but it pretty much comes to, hits, the essence of the original scene, I guess. One speech I did want to perform, I actually thought about doing this. Oh, crap. I actually thought about performing this scene in my Any Given Sunday review, but that speech, man, I do sort of have this memorized. I don't want to say it right now because I'm going to be doing it in the middle. I'm going to be looking for the next line. But that speech, where he, right before, again, the final football game, where he's like, I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Now, either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And again, now I'm doing a bit where I'm forgetting the fucking lines again. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to quickly just look up what the fucking next line is. Because again, it's... you think you got to memorize and then you actually do it. This is why I'm not an actor. Pacino had that scene memorized and he nailed it in one take. I think I talked about this in a review. This is why I'm not an actor. I got it. We're in hell right now, gentlemen, believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell.
1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I mean, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off,
There you go again.
everyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. And again, I'm fucking blanking. Oh yeah. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that once you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. And so is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break in a game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I tell you this, in any fight, it's a guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You're going to look at the guy next to you, look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you going to do?
And that's a fucking speech. Thank you. Have you an Oscar? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, again, I'm not an actor. I didn't memorize the entire fucking thing, but I memorized enough again. Again, I was just sort of blanking on what's the next bit and stuff like that, but yeah. Anyway, Matt, now that you're here, some of your favorite Pacino quotes that you would like me to read out in my Pacino voice, if you have any. By all means, hit us up. I think we're just going to keep it going for another 15 minutes or so. Whatever. It's I think Gareth is live anyway at this point, right? I think I got a notification. Gareth is live, yeah. Let's take a look at how Gareth is doing. Oh yeah, he's discussing the VJust covers. Looks like he's doing good. Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Do appreciate that. Scarface quotes. Again, there's 3 sort of stages of Pacino that I always say. You got, of course, the 70s one where he has the high-pitched, voice, Luca Brazzi eleganto, I said. That's usually the quote I can do with the best. And my father was showing that either his signature or his brains will be on the contract. And then you move into the 80s, and by the time Scarface comes on, he sort of has the same voice, but it's getting a little lower, a little more raspy. And then you add the Cuban accent to it, and you got Antonio Montana. Are you? What you call yourself? Yeah, you got that bit. And of course, we all remember the lines from Scarface. In this country, you gotta make the money first. And then we got the money, you got the power. Then we got the power, now you got the woman. That's why you gotta make your own moves, man. I'm telling you, Tony Montana, man. Tony Montana is a character. He just transcends. You can put that character to any movie with that accent and that voice. It just fucking works, I'm telling you. Okay, you put him in Gone with the Wind. Frankly, Scott, I don't give a fuck. Jerry Maguire, you have me or fuck you. You can put that character to any fucking movie that are gonna work, That's the character for me as well. Again, like I told you guys earlier on, that's the character that I really did my first impression of. That's the one I sort of studied and mastered, the first time, It was, going to school, people were saying, do the scene from Scarface, man. Jeff, do the fucking scene. And I'll be like, oh, I'm at your service, man. And the longer I do it, the more I get into character. I do the mannerisms, okay? Like Pacino when he pulls down his shirt and he starts back, when he does that. The attitude, it's gotta all be there. It's gotta all be there when you do the Tony Montana impression. Again, I heard many people do the Tony Montana voice, and a lot of people are doing it good, all right? A lot of people are doing a good job, but you gotta have the proper cadence in the voice. Sometimes he goes a little more like this with the accent, or sometimes he goes very high. Come on, fuck you, man. Come on, you go low, you go high, I go low. Another game, man. Look, this is business talk. Come on. That scene where he's in the bathtub. I love that scene where he calls Michelle Pfeiffer a white piece of bread. When she's like, oh, money, 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 that's all you can talk about is money. Oh, fuck you, you white piece of bread. Get out of the television, man. And then that's the bit where he looks at the flamingos on TV, right? Where it's like, oh, man, look at the pelican fly. Come on, pelican. And apparently that's actually the scene. That's actually the line that Pacino practiced the Cuban accent with. For those that didn't know, that's the line he'll sort of do it over and over again to really get the accent going. And again, there are people out there that sort of say his accent is over the top. His whole portrayal as a Cuban is over the top and exaggerated. Yes, it was, and that's done on purpose. Pacino talked about this on one of the DVD/Blu-ray, whatever format you watch it on, one of the extras. He didn't want to make Tony Montana a three-dimensional character, with proper this and that and whatever, and sort of real character depth. He wanted to make it sort of a two-dimensional character. There's two sides to Tony Montana, one this side and this side, and that's all. There's no third dimension to it. Pacino did that on purpose. And what a performance! Again, I could talk Scarface. I could talk Scarface all day. What a performance! It's what he does with that character. He just transforms into it. He becomes the character. He just fully gets into it. He actually, developed that accent, that voice. He got a body for it. He studied the mannerisms, of course. There were Cubans involved with the film. Stephen Bauer was one. Stephen Bauer helped him a lot with the accent and the mannerisms and stuff. And actually, one of the things I will recommend before I sign out, I will recommend picking up this book, Al Pacino, in Conversation with Lawrence Grobel. All right, there it is right there. It's one of the Bibles. You can get another version of it, which has this cover from The Godfather 2 on it, but it's pretty much essentially the same one, just a little smaller, more pocket size. And I think this one doesn't have any pictures in it. This one does have pictures. Case in point, if I can find a page, somewhere in the middle, we have pictures. Not finding it right now, of course, typical. We try to find something on the stream, it's usually doesn't show up. Oh, there it is. So yeah, this one you got pictures and stuff in it, black and white, some sort of intimate behind the scenes pictures of Pacino. But this is pretty much a collection of conversations that Pacino has had with this one author, Lawrence Grobel. I think he was a journalist writer for Playboy magazine. I think he did an interview with Marlon Brando and a lot of other celebrities before he sort of got to Pacino, did their first interview, and they actually met up a few times over the years. And this actually meets up with Pacino over, again, multiple sort of periods in his career. Up until, I think, 2008 was the last one that they put in the book, because that's around the time that this book came out. But you actually get behind-the-scenes stories of films that he's working on. Like, I think they first met up when Pacino was doing Cruising. So you get all the behind-the-scenes stuff of cruising that Pacino was going through. Pacino talks about the controversy and the protests and stuff. Pacino opens up how he feels about it, and then they meet up again right after Scarface in the mid-80s or something. And Pacino talks about what he did for Scarface and his preparation and stuff. So yeah, highly, highly recommend it. It's this book, Al Pacino in Conversation with Lawrence Grobel. And yeah, the other one with a different cover, they also changed the title, but again, it's essentially the same book, where they call it Al Pacino, the authorized biography. But again, it's just a collection of a lot of conversations that these two had. Why do I have both versions? Well, why the fuck not? Right? So yeah, that's another thing I will give you. And actually, along with that, I will recommend this Pacino Actors Vision box set, because this contains rare films and his, passion projects like The Local Stigmatic, like Chinese Coffee, like Looking for Richard. But again, I do have another Looking for Richard edition. 20th Century Fox, yeah, they have released it also singularly, apart from the box set, so you can get Looking for Richard easily. Want to get the other two films? Definitely get this, and another bonus for Pacino nuts among us, like myself. You get this here, Babylonia, which is a sort of documentary about Pacino, and it interviews Pacino in the actor's studio, of course, where he learned his craft, at the actor's studio in New York City, where he studied on Lee Strasberg. Many great legendary actors went there. Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, they all went to the actor's studio. Jack Nicholson. Actually, I'm not too sure about Nicholson, actually. Don't quote me on Nicholson, but of course, made famous much earlier with people like Brando, who studied there, and James Dean. Of course, they invented sort of the pioneers of the method acting. Of course, Pacino's a method actor. We all know this as well. As well as De Niro. So pretty much everybody in that era that graduated from the actor studio, they were those big sort of methody actors. So you want to watch more interesting Pacino stuff, get the box set and watch Babylonia. Probably won't do a review of Babylonia, because again, it's Looking for Richard is a documentary, but that's different. It's a documentary that he made himself, and he's sort of very, what's the word, very involved with everything. He directed it as well, so that's why I did cover Looking for Richard. Babylonia is just about Pacino himself, so I would just recommend that offhand, for people who want to see it. I think you can also watch it online. You don't necessarily have to get the box set, which it can be actually pretty pricey to get this box set. I was actually able to get it for a fairly good deal. I think I paid about €50 for this one, which actually, since this is released in 2006 or whatever, 2005, and I purchased it last year, 2023. Yeah, that's the year we're in, right? Yeah, that's the year last year. Considering it's been out of print for a very long time, I got a good deal on it. So if you can get it for a good deal, I say get it. Add it to your Pacino collection, watch it. Again, it's a collection of personal films that he was passionate about. And even though they're not the greatest films, they're definitely worth checking out. So yeah, with that having been said, I'm going to have to clean up my entire Pacino collection. This is, by the way, what it looks like when I do one of these streams where I talk about every movies. I have all the movies here. This is the mess it creates, and I have stuff over there. I'm gonna have to clean all that crap up. Excuse me, my throat is getting. After doing a lot of the Pacino impressions, right, especially the old Pacino, and doing that whole Any Given Sunday speech, I feel a little bit of a burn in my throat, to be honest. Hey, Scott. Thank you for tuning in, Scotty. Always a pleasure. Hello, Jeff and Frank. A great stream. My happy birthday to the legend that is Al Pacino. Indeed, absolutely. I'm actually about wrapping up. About to wrap up, I think, Scott. So thanks for tuning in. Definitely catch the playback. There were plenty of Pacino impressions on this one. Some recommendations made. So yeah, what will I do before I sign off? Do I have anything funny or inventive to do? No, I don't think so. Not that. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, of this stream, I don't think that far ahead. I'm not a way ahead thinker, whatever the word is. I think that's why we don't have the new generation of good actors studying what the actor studio lack of. Yeah, that's a fair point. Even though I think, yeah, the actor studio is still a thing, and there's still actors that study their craft there. I think Bradley Cooper is an example. I think he studied at the. I think he studied at the actor studio. Bradley Cooper. And to be fair, Bradley Cooper is a really decent, great actor to put it that way. Um, put him on the level of Pacino, De Niro, Nicholson, Hoffman. Nah, but still a great actor nonetheless. To be fair, so yeah. We'll definitely catch the stream of play. Yeah, thanks, Scott. No worries. Yeah, we've done quite a few impressions. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy listening to those. Yeah, the same caliber. Definitely, Mike. I mean, that's the thing. If you look at actors nowadays, again, there are still really decent actors out there. There's no question about it. But if you look at the 70s and 80s and even 60s, whatever, if you look at the actors we had there, and especially from that era, from Pacino's era, where you had, Gene Hackman, Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, De Niro, of course. I feel like I'm forgetting about somebody. Did I mention Dustin Hoffman? I'm just gonna mention him again if I miss him. Dustin Hoffman. That's a group of actors right there. I mean, yeah, let's even throw Stallone in there. I mean, Stallone is another one of those guys. New York, 70s, actor. Stallone, of course, is born in New York, even though I think he grew up for the most part in Philadelphia. But Stallone is a New York-born actor, again, Italian-American, sort of same deal as with Pacino. Even though I think Stallone might not have had the training that Pacino had, Stallone might not have been, a part of the actor studio or whatever. But he is definitely part of that generation and another one of those fine actors. Another thing that is weird about the career of Pacino is the 80s, right? All of those actors I just mentioned, they pretty much had a fantastic run in the 80s, besides Pacino. Of course, he started the 80s with Cruising, moving on to Offer, then Scarface. Scarface was the only one in the 80s, I think, that made money of those early 80s. And then, of course, the final nail in the coffin, that is Revolution, for his career at that point, where he was like, okay, I'm going to step aside from these movies for a minute and just take a breather, get back to the stage, recharge my batteries, and then he came back full force with Sea of Love. But yeah, Revolution was a big bomb, obviously. But that's one of the things about Pacino, as opposed to his peers, I guess. The 80s were unkind of him. Stallone had a fantastic 80s. Nicholson had fantastic movies in the 80s. But yeah, Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty, okay, they had Ishtar in the 80s. That was a big flop as well. De Niro had a very successful 80s, even though some of the films that are considered classic or legendary they weren't hits back then, like Once Upon a Time in America and The Mission. Those films actually bombed a little bit at the box office. So De Niro maybe a little bit similar, but he still, I think, had a more successful one in the 80s than Pacino. Pacino's an interesting case, where Scarface is really the only one in that 80s era that really, well, people consider a legendary, epic, classic, whatever. Even though Sea of Love is a great one, a lot of people don't really rate Sea of Love as high, even though it's a top 10 contender, definitely. I had very near my top 10, I think, when I did the ranking at the beginning. But so yeah, that was an interesting point I want to give out to people again, for people that are watching out here to learn a little bit, I guess, about Pacino, even though I'm sort of going all over the place. That's another thing I did want to sort of point out, which is an oddity in his career, like the 80s were very unkind to Pacino. But yeah, he had a great 70s run. And from what I've just rediscovered once again doing the reviews, he also had a great run in the 90s. I mean, the 90s run, Sandra Woman, Dick Tracy, Godfather 3, Frankie and Johnny, Heat, Donnie Brasco, The Insider, Any Given Sunday, all those movies, Devil's Advocate. That's a great one. Glengarry Glen Ross, I don't think I mentioned that one. That's another one. That's a freaking run of movies right there. That's a string of movies there. That really equals and rivals his run in the 70s, where you had Panic in Needle Park, The Godfather, Serpico, Scarecrow, Godfather 2, Dog Day Afternoon. Boom. Put those films there and then put the 90s films together as well. Have them compete with each other. That would be an interesting topic for another day, is how, putting up the 90s era Pacino to the 70s one, because they're really both great as of we discovered in the reviews. I was like, going into the 90s, I was like, okay, yeah, there's Heat, there's Son of a Woman, in the early 90s and some great stuff, but then it turns out in the mid and late 90s, he just carried on with bangers. He just turned them out one after another, with Donnie Brasco and Devil's Advocate in the same year, The Insider, Any Given Sunday in the same year. Again, doing 2 films a year sometimes, it's impressive, the 90s one. So yeah. Wilkie saying Heat is a favorite of his. Yeah, Heat is definitely a favorite of mine as well. I've performed that scene a few times, but I will give it a little abridged version of it. But that scene where, of course, Pacino and De Niro meet up,
we're sitting here. You and I like a couple of regular fellas. You do what you do, and I do what I gotta do. And now that we're face to face, if I'm there, I'm gonna put you away. I won't like it. But I'll tell you, if it's between you and some poor bastard whose wife is gonna turn into a widow, brother, you are going down.
De Niro. There's a flip side to that coin. What if you do got me boxed in and I gotta put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way. We've been face to face. Yeah. But I won't hesitate. Not for a second.
Maybe that's the way it'll be. Or, who knows?
Or maybe we never see each other again. See, that scene I got memorized. That bit I got totally memorized. But yeah, that's a fantastic scene. Heat is a classic. Heat is a masterpiece again. Michael Mann did such a fantastic job directing that film. It might be my favorite Michael Mann film, to be fair. I mean, he's done a lot of great stuff. Thief. Again, The Insider was another one with Pacino. Wasn't too big on the Miami Vice movie, to be fair, but I get that the film does have its fans. Ali with Will Smith, that's a fantastic film. Collateral, Tom Cruise, that's a great one. But Heat might actually be my favorite of Michael Mann's, to be fair. It's really great. Sea of Love is excellent, and indeed it is. I mean, again, such a great, steamy, sexy thriller. Pacino, Alan Barkin, Michael Rooker. I'm not going to reveal Michael Rooker's role for people who haven't seen it, but he's great in it. John Goodman, God, John Goodman is amazing in that film. The banter between him and Pacino. Those two, I mean, it's a little buddy cop asking that film, but those two should have done a proper buddy cop film. That would have been interesting. Pacino and John Goodman in a Lethal Weapon sort of film. Yeah, the restaurant scene is amazing in Heat, indeed. Did you do an episode on Frankie and Johnny? I can't remember. I sure did, Mike. As a matter of fact, now that I do have access to my devices and to my phone here, I will actually drop the link of that review in this chat. A little self-promotion. But since you asked, here it is. Copy link, and then go to my live stream and just drop that little sucker in there. There you go. There's the review for Frankie and Johnny. That it. There it is. Yeah, I sure did. And since you're hopefully gonna watch it, I won't reveal too much, even though I have said already that I think it's a pretty fantastic film. It's really underrated and stuff. I really love it. I can't remember the rating I gave it. I think, if I remember off the top of my head, I gave it a 7.5 or an 8 star out of 10 rating. And it is highly recommended. But yeah, again, if you want more details and stuff, watch the review. But I have done that review, that's for sure. Anyway, the night is young. I am going to wrap up this particular stream, but I might actually, I was thinking about doing this as a follow-up. I might actually, in about 30 minutes or 45 minutes from now, whatever, I might actually, because it is a special occasion, Pacino's birthday, I might actually do a Pacino watch party in about an hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour. And I was actually going to let the chat pick the film I'm going to watch after this stream. Again, I will do another live, so it will be a watch party. I'll give you options. I was thinking of either watching Serpico. I'm going to do a watch party on Serpico. Or I was thinking of doing a watch party on... what was the film I had in mind? Oh, for fuck's sake. Again, you think you're everything prepared, and then you start looking for stuff. Oh yeah, this is the one I wouldn't mind watching again. So yeah, Serpico or his Oscar-winning performance in Scent of a Woman. Since we only have, I think, Wilkie and Mike in the chat, leave it to you guys to vote. Which film should I do a watch party on after the stream? Again, the watch party will be about 45 minutes to an hour after this one because I got to set everything up. But yeah, those are the two I wouldn't mind watching on this night to celebrate Pacino's birthday. So, what's the film? Son of a Woman or Serpico? Two eras, two fantastic films. This is one he should have won the Oscar for. This is one he did win the Oscar for. So I'll leave it to you guys. I've done a watch party on Heat with Gareth Video Tasty. I've done a watch party on Scarface with Gareth. So I wouldn't mind watching Scarface again, but that's not one I do want to. Yeah, I can do without watching Scarface for a while because I watched it 4 times last year, once on the big screen. So yeah. Crap, I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. Like, oh, that's okay, Mike. So yeah, I will be back 45 minutes to an hour doing a watch party of one of these. And again, if the chat isn't deciding, I'm gonna just I'm gonna do a spinning wheel or whatever. Maybe have that pick it out for me. Oh, okay, we got one. We have Wilkie saying Serpico. That's one vote for Serpico. What do you say, Mike? I would go for Serpico myself. I mean, what's Serpico? It's 130 minutes. Son of a Woman is. Fuck, it's the running time. 155 minutes. Serpico is definitely the shorter one. Although not by much. So yeah, chat's choice. Once again, I'm seeing there are a few more viewers. Special night, I'm going to do a watch party after the stream. Again, 45 minutes to an hour from now. These are the 2 movies that the chat can pick out for me. One that I'm going to do a watch party on. So we got 1 vote for Serpico. And the other option is Son of a Woman. So let's get this voting over. I'm going to wrap this one up and set everything up for the watch party. I am going to watch one of the movies regardless because it is the birthday. Or Dog Day, yeah, one of the Lumet films. Maybe Dog Day Afternoon would be a good one as well. But yeah, let's keep it to those two, Serpico or Son of a Woman. Just looking over some other stuff, yeah. Oh, and yeah, I think that settles it. It's going to be Serpico. So again, it's now 9:40 p.m. Let's say about 10:30 p.m. my time, which, let me scroll back. What time was it over there? Don't know what time it is for you guys over there. It will, I think we're 6 hours apart, something like that, 5-6 hours. But at 10:30 p.m. my time, we're going to start rolling on the Serpico watch party. Anyway, thanks for watching this one. I will brush up quickly on my Serpico facts and prepare that stream. So yeah, hopefully I will catch some of you on the Serpico watch party. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna quickly clear house here. Gonna clear the Pacino collection, put it back where it's supposed to be, and set up Serpico and stuff. So we'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching this one. I will play that intro once again because again, I did find it really came out well. So happy birthday, Al. We'll be back to celebrate Pacino some more in a short while. But here's another bit of some Pacino clips. And that's it for this one for now.
Let's all raise our glass to Alfredo James Pacino, or as many of us know you, Al Pacino!